Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have 5 vowels. I do not have a bingo. Now, what I can do is play canoe, which isn't great. It's providing a lot of good floaters for my opponent, vowels next to premium squares, and it's keeping 2 vowels. So what I think is better is Aeonic. Only leaves me with 1 vowel, and it's a nice one. 22 points. And this looks pretty good. Not sure if I have a 7. Through an R I would have varioles and 3 others. Valorize, volaries and oversail. Do I have anything through the N or the C? Gosh, the C looks promising. Okay, nothing is springing to mind. And then what about the N? It'll be quite a high probability word. This rack is slightly vowel heavy, so it might not be as bingo-y as it looks. Through a T I would have violates. Oh, fantastic. Look at that. Sometimes nice things happen. A double-double. Violates 94 points. And this looks pretty good. I don't have a 7, but it's balanced. No duplicate tiles. I've got a good scoring tile in the Z. And there may be an 8-letter bingo here. Certainly a lot of floaters to consider. And I've got the IZE and IZES endings to consider. I've also got the N of Aeonic to make an ING ending word. The U is a bit of a problem tile, but I do have, again, the N of Aeonic to make it UN as a prefix. Now I'm not seeing a bingo, although I haven't given up on finding one. What about... I was thinking of eulogizes, but that's a 9-letter word. Yep, good bingo for my opponent. Takes an E in front. I have one. So, I could play guise and erections. Guize, keeping LS. Is that the best I can do? Now, I note that my opponent has placed an O next to a double word square, so I could place my Z there. Well, let me see what this scores first. $41 points. Gets rid of a lot of problem tiles. I'm having slight doubts as to whether it's good, which is incredibly annoying. Ulzi is certainly good. It's going to score slightly less, but it might be a small price to pay for certainty. 39 points. Now, what can I do with the O of erections? I would need a word beginning ZEU. Okay, now the other possibility is placing my Z at M9 the double letter square running across through the S erections. Nope, can't see anything there. Ah, now there's the A of violates. Twee does take an E in front. Now I could play Les at F4, L-E-Z. 47 points. Well, that's keeping a U and an I with the G and the S not so great. I haven't got anything good to go in front of the E. This is... well, it's not that tricky in the sense that this is a pretty nice word and a pretty good score and not a terrible rack leave. So 39 points for Ulzi, keeping GS. There's also the O of Aeonic where I can put my Z. I certainly want to play off either a U or a G with this. Now, can I do that? Well, I can't see a way of doing that. I think I'm going to go back to Ulzi, and one advantage of Ulzi is that it stops my opponent placing an E in front of erections, which is going to be a pretty easy opportunity for him. No blanks have been played yet, so playing off 5 tiles increases my chances of drawing one. I don't, but I believe Chigoes is good. C-H-E-G-O-E-S. Now, is there anywhere for that? There may not be, which is a shame, because if it's good, it's a nice word. But is there any other bingos available? Quite a few floaters to consider. But it's not that promising a rack. I'm looking at the N of erections. Okay, well, my opponent has not provided a spot for Chigoes. I don't think. Now looking at the scores, I have a lead of 44 points, which is fairly slender. Now, this is a pretty good rack. I ought to be able to score and leave a decent rack leave. I'm looking for where I can score with my H. I've got 14 minutes left. My H does play here. But the rack leave isn't that great, and that's only 26 points. I think I can do better. Well, I could play G here. Now, ordinarily I would not want to play off both E's. But COS has a certain amount of synergy. G is 33 points is good, and I don't want to retain the C and the G together on my rack. They lack synergy, so I could play Ho, H-O-E in this spot. But that would leave C-E-G-S, and I think COS is a much better rack leave. I'm also... well, there isn't an also because both Ho and G open up row N for a bingo ending in S, which is good since I have an S. Well, this isn't great, but it's not terrible either. 2 Fs is not really a problem. It's a non-bingo-y rack, but it's a good scoring rack. But what I think I'm looking at doing is scoring well this move and next rather than bingoing next move. I should be able to score with the Fs on this move and the X on my next move, or vice versa. My preference is playing off the Fs. So Calf and Cough are both good. Cuffo is good. I was getting excited about the U of Ulzi, but it's in the wrong spot for Cuffo. Fox would be good, but that retains the C and the F, and the C and the F don't have good synergy. Now there is the triple letter square at F6, so I could play Ox, 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 and IO. 52 points, and that keeps Scaff. And although C and F don't have synergy, two Fs together is quite a good scoring combination. And given that Caff and Cough and Scoff are all good, then playing Ox, well, playing Ox plays the O, but given that Caff is good, then playing Ox isn't too bad. Always good to score over 50 points. And I note also my X can play at D8 to make Zoo. Playing Ox there, only 34 points. Nothing like as good as Ox, Ox and IO. Quite an open board, which is good. Although it provides opportunities for my opponents to bingo, it also enables me to keep on scoring. And once you've got a good lead, keeping on scoring is a good way of increasing your chances of being ahead at the end of the game. Very frustrating to be ahead and then only have limited scoring opportunities, because it enables your opponent to catch you without bingoing. Now, what haven't I considered? Well, this row H, I could have a 5-letter word ending on the A of violates. Now, if I could place a high scoring tile there, a C, an F or an X, I would have a big score. But I can't do that with the tiles that I have. Well, not that I can see. We're about halfway through the game, 51 tiles unseen. So at the moment my preferred play is in column 6, the play of Ox. And I'm wondering if there's anywhere that I can play Caff or Cough. Well, I could play Coughs and Ulzis. 39 points, that's not bad. But that's a pretty open move. Although I don't mind an open board, I have a certain reticence about opening up triple word squares. It's just such an easy way for my opponent to score 30 or 40 points. I don't like to make life that easy. Just looking to see if I have a word beginning UX in column 6, UXO, but I can't see one. My opponent's taking a while. He may well have one or both blanks, and if he does, there are certainly opportunities on this board to bingo. Mainly row N pluralizing G. Okay, he has not done that, which is good. He has blocked the Ox spot. He's played off 4 tiles, so I can't infer that he's retained anything great. So, do I play Coughs and Ulzis? It is tempting. Plenty of opportunities for scoring on this board. 41 points. My opponent can't put a high scoring tile on A12. I've got the X for score. So I ought to be able to score well next go. Okay, pretty balanced rack. Not a bingo, not a 7 or an 8. If my opponent doesn't take it, I've got cocks in row A, 36 points. Spadix is a good 7-letter word. I don't have anything beginning uxo. Looking to see if I've got something in column 6 through the E of Maven, placing my X on the triple letter square next to the O of violates. So that would be a word ending, or containing this ending rather, EOX. I don't have that. Now the other possibility is row M, placing my X on one of the double letter squares and going through E and S. Great, that's hopelessly wrong. But let me make a note of what letters my opponent has got. He's got D-E-I-L-O-R. So he's got soldier, but with the blank as a K. So challenge that off. Great, and that means I can actually take out row A. I know my opponent's got a great rack. Now I'm just wondering if I can play in row B, placing my X here and getting this doubled. Can't see a way of doing that. Cox is good because the rack leave is pretty great. I'm not guaranteed a bingo at all, but this is quite a bingo-y rack leave. Just hesitating in case I've got a better bingo through that, a better score through that C. And just wondering if I can place my X at A12. So here, ox. No, can't see anything there. What about X? No. Okay, I think I am going to go with cox. Well, this is not a bingo. Through a dislocated A and E, I would have Jaspidian or Japanized. Actually, it would go with E and A together, Jaspidian. But that's not available on this board and won't be. So, I've got the J for score. I'm looking in row B to see if I can place it at B10 on the triple letter square and have a 5-letter word ending O something. That would score a lot. Can't see a way of doing that. Now I've also got row H. Well, that's not good either. Okay. So I've got row H. So if I could have a word ending JA, starting at H1, something ninja would do, if I had that, and I don't. So do I have anything else, perhaps a J in another spot, maybe beginning with the J? No, I do have panda in that spot, 30 points. And I've got Jap up here. This gets rid of my non-bingo tiles. 36 points, it's a good score. It's not really providing any great opportunities for my opponent. And if I draw a vowel, I'll have a bingo-y rack. I'm slightly nervous that my opponent may give up. Because he's just played 2 phonies. But anyway, do I have a bingo? Gosh, this will be pretty high probability if I do, and I should know it. Can't see one here. I've got a lead of 170 points, which is pretty good. Not many floaters available. There is the S of violates, but I've got an S. Now I've got the NESS ending through the ES of erections and ye, using just the N and the S. So, driedness would be playable if it was good. It's not. Right, okay, finally my opponent has bingoed. So what do I do with this rack? This is so close to a bingo. If I played off just a single tile, just the E, I would have a pretty good rack, and row N is still available for bingos ending in S. So although this scores only 12 points, I'm tempted. I could get 15 points by playing did. And the advantage of this is that it stops my opponent scoring well on that triple letter square. And the D isn't a great tile to keep with EINRS because it competes with the S for ending the word. And rinse is one of the best 5-letter rack leaves available. So have I talked myself into this? It's only 15 points. Am I failing to consider something I should consider? No, I think this is fine. Great, I've got deniers or deniers in row N. That's not two different words, it's two different pronunciations. Nereids is an anagram. I don't have anything beginning with the X. In another spot it would be indexes. So Nereids, deniers. What else? The other spot to consider is the S of violates, a direness, D-I-R-E-ness. Is that good? Direness. It doesn't play. I'm just not sure about direness. And I don't need to be sure. What there is available though is still column 4 because of the front hook for twee of the E. So I actually have Nereids down here. Fantastic. And this is going to score more than playing in row... Well, deniers plays in this spot, doesn't it? Just going to score even more. What's good about this, it scores more than the row N play, and the row N play would have opened up row O. And this is 83 points. It's still a blank unseen, which I don't draw. In fact, this is my first pretty atrocious rack this game. Cuta is good, K-U-T-A, that sorts the rack out to some extent. One reason this rack is so bad is that it cannot be sorted out in one go. But fortunately I'm 200 points ahead. So I'm not looking to bingo to win. Curta is good, that could play in row M through the R of deniers, and that would also take out two useful hooks, floaters from my opponent, the R and the S of deniers. I haven't seen anywhere for Cuta yet. I note that that neck is good, so I'm looking at J6. If I had a word beginning UK, then that would make neck. But IS doesn't take any letters after it that I have on my rack. So what am I looking to do? I've got the K for score, and I want to play off an A and a U at least. Now AUK is good. That might be playable somewhere. Okay, my Curtis spot has been taken. Which is a shame, since I had no alternative plays identified. I've got 7 minutes left, 18 tiles in the bag. Biz does take an I and an O in front. I don't have either of those tiles. Yep. Pretty tricky rack. I can't even see anywhere for Orc. But there will be an optimal play. I have no idea what it is. Gosh, how frustrating. This game had been flowing really well. And this is a problem rack. Remaining tiles aren't particularly bingo-y, despite the blank being available. And Denies has actually interfered with a 7-letter bingo pluralizing G. Now I am running short of time. I've only got 6 minutes left, so I can't tarry on this move. This is the point where I'd like to play the best move that I've identified, but I haven't identified a best move. Now, what about playing Kuta down here? I'm sure this isn't great. I'm not even sure of Bisque. It's not going to score great. 20 points. I hope this doesn't come off. Bisque doesn't feel great. And the tiles I picked up aren't great either. And I'm short on time, so this could be a pretty well, not turgid obviously because we're playing Scrabble, but tricky endgame, or tricky ending to the game. This isn't an end game situation as such. Kuta does take an S after it, so I have opened up row O, but all the S's have gone, so it's only the blank that can take advantage of that, and the remaining tiles apart from the blank are not particularly bingo-y. In particular, look at the vowel count. 6 vowels out of 21 tiles, so it's got a dry bag for vowels. So in that respect, my rack is quite balanced. Now I can play great. Bisque stays on. My opponent's played just in the spot where I was going to play Oni, O-N-Y. I was about to announce that. My opponent's played there. So I've got 5 minutes left. 13 tiles in the bag. That's still a lot. ES takes a T after it. I'm looking at... well, I'm looking here, but I don't have anything to go after EN. Looking in column 6 to see if I can place my Y next to the O of violates. Can't see a way of doing that. Y is usually quite a good tile to have for scoring, because there are so many places it can go. Gosh, this game has suddenly just dried up so much. Well, this sorts out the duplicate. Score's pretty terrible, but it's not completely tragic. Keeps 2 vowels, which is not bad since the bag is dry, and I've got the only remaining U, and the Q hasn't been played. Well, this is okay. It's not bingo-y, but it's pretty balanced in terms of vowels and consonants. I certainly do not want to run out of vowels. Gine is not good. My opponent's got the Q and the blank, so challenge that off. Where can I play the W? I've got the ing ending, but the remaining tiles don't go well with that. So what to do. It's actually no longer an open board. I'm looking at H1 to see if I've got a 5-letter play ending DA. Can't see one. Ahoy is good, so what I could do is or 21 points, keeps the score rolling along. Just under 3 minutes left. And this is short on time because although there aren't many tiles left, there are limited opportunities on this board to play, so I could be looking at playing off 1 or 2 tiles each go. So there could be several moves left in this game. Now I don't have a bingo here. Gym is good, that would help preserve my racks. My vowels rather. I'm looking immediately at M1 because Vo takes an E in front, there are E's unseen. It's not a great opportunity for my opponent. What do I have that can go in front of or? Nothing. Okay, well that's the end of that little excursion. So can I play Jim anywhere? No. Well, what I can do is play my. I'm really not sure this is optimal, but I am short on time. 25 points, not a bad score. Butting, or abutting onto an A. Doubt that I'll have the opportunity to play that. So 4 tiles left. I know my opponent's got the Q and the blank. I've got 483 points, my opponent's got 253, so I am going to win this game. And it is really hard finding the best move on this sort of board with this sort of rack. But it's perfectly bearable when you're ahead and know you're going to win. This type of board is really tricky when you're close in score, because you know you're almost certainly making suboptimal moves which could be costing you the game. Now I'm just struggling to find anywhere to play anything. And obviously I can play, but I'm looking... Oh, well I can play butt at M1, butt, bore and... Yeah, and that would take out the Evo hook. I mean, my opponent probably can play choir if he knows that hook in column 1. But if he does play choir, then I've got the I for going next to the Q. So my opponent's got 4 minutes left, I've got 2. Gin does take a G after it. But that's not going to score particularly well. Ahoy, well, it doesn't take any letters after it that I have. I'm not sure if it takes an S after it or not, it may do. So, right now I'm looking to play butt in column 1. I could play bug in the same spot, that keeps 2 T's. And in the very end game, the G is a good tile to have because it scores 2 points rather than 1. Although looking around, there aren't any good spots for the G. I've got tubing as a 6-letter word on my rack, nowhere to play that. Great. the but spot remains available. Three tiles left. This is going to empty the bag. Oh, that's pretty ropey. Only one vowel. Okay, and my opponent's got a great rack. But I don't think there's anywhere on the board that he can bingo. Okay. Oh, well, that's fine. My opponent now has got only 5 tiles left, which isn't much, and he has provided an opportunity for me to play. So I can play gig down here. 21 points. My opponent could then go out with Gator in row O. So can I do better than this? Well, possibly, but I'm sure my opponent can go out in a number of spots. But in any event, this game is comfortably won. Now, if he doesn't go out, I've got 49 seconds. I can play Tron in row F. What I can't do is go out. Okay, maybe I should have given more thought to having an out in 2. So are there any other vowels that I could have played through to better effect? Only 6 points for Tron. Well, in which case, what about playing Tin? 10 points, that's better. By 2 points. Now, have I actually... No, I can play my R next to the U of cuter, and also I can make where onto WAI. I'm just thinking maybe my opponent doesn't go out. Okay, he does go out. So pass to end the game. And the final score, 308 to my opponent, 537 to me, a winning margin of 229. So huge winning margin and a big score. Let's see what I missed. Oh, okay, I should have challenged that. Ahoy's was not good, a bit slack of me. Now, it was me to go first. Aeonic looks like it was best. Violate and Vocalize was the bingo through the sea. Okay, well, Violate scores a lot more. Great. Guise was not good, so I did the right thing in not playing that. What I did play was Ulzi for 39. And yeah, I do like Ulzi. It retains the S and doesn't keep the GU combination, which is very unbingo-y. Now this is where I had Chigos. It didn't play. What I played was Gi for 33, and I like that. COS, I think, is a better rack lead than EG. Well, I'm sure it is. Now, I played Coughs for 41. I could have played F at D6. Where's that? Oh, down column 6 through the E of Maven, F, if, and of for 35. Yeah, probably better than Coughs. Let's just see if my opponent did have a 9 timer with this rack. No, he didn't, but he had a number of playable bingos. Now, I played Cox for 36, and yeah, I could have got the same score by playing Pox, but then I would have been leaving the row A open. I didn't want to do that. Jows for 60. Okay, B10. That's where I was considering my J. What I didn't see was the play available. 60 points, big score. Instead, I played Jap for 36, 24 points fewer, but my rack leave was far better than DMP, but probably not 24 points better. Great no missed bingo here, but this is where I played did for, I think I played did. Yeah, only 15 points. I could have played did at A5, running along the top of soldier, but it wrecks the rack leave, so the margin, the difference between these plays is not as big as the score difference of 20. Now this is where I had deniers and a nice spot to play it. The other bingos were nereids in the same spot and readiness, which I did not see. Now this is where I had a whole run of poor racks, and I'm pretty sure I didn't make the best play. So Kegu is where I played Kuta. I think Kegu would have been better because the T's a better tile to keep. But this wasn't a bad move. Well, a whole bunch of horrible moves because the score's pretty low, the low 20s, and all of the rack leaves are awful, so I think Nye is fine. Rack improved slightly. I didn't see that I could play Gaunt at J14. Ah, very nice, making Ging and Hoya. Okay, that would certainly have been better than whatever I did, which was all for 21. Well, a whole bunch of plays in the 20s, as indeed mine was. This is where I played Butts, and Bug may have been better. And Grig at G14, I was considering that, Grig and Ging, and that would have given me the opportunity to go out with Tron, so perhaps that would have been better. And, well, a whole bunch of small plays available with that. And this is where my opponent goes out, I think, yeah, with Sight and, well, and phonying with Ahoys. But anyway, that was a pretty good game. It flowed really nicely until the end. Then I had some pretty awful racks to deal with, which I don't like dealing with. But fortunately, I had a big enough lead that it didn't matter that I wasn't finding the best score. So I think the earlier game perhaps illustrated more the importance of really sort of looking after your rack leaves to leave yourself with playable options. So it's not just a case of keeping rack leaves, it's also keeping opportunities available on the board so that you can keep scoring, and there are places for your bingos, which is quite an aggressive style of play compared to other styles of play. It's not hyper aggressive, but if you've got a good vocabulary, if you think you've got a better vocabulary than your opponent, then I think an open board is to your advantage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name's David Webb. This has been a video for Dweebovision.